About a month ago, I made a video discussing the possible outcomes of the next chapter of the Albaz storyline. With new cards being revealed still with some Albaz character artworks, there are still a lot of cards that could possibly be released in future sets, including some of these characters we know from the Albaz story. But a few weeks after that video was released, Konami actually announced a new Fallen of Albaz Master Collection, including all the cards in the lore, 4 new alternate arts, but also one completely brand new card. So in this video, I've done something that I've never done before. I've designed 5 new Fallen of Albaz cards to continue each part of the Albaz storyline. And maybe one of them could actually be something that will be released in the future. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here are 5 brand new Fallen of Albaz cards today. Rising Quem the Virtuous is a level 4 Dark Spellcaster Tuner with 1500 attack and defense. If you have a fusion or synchro monster in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. Quick effect, you can tribute this card as cost, special summon one virtuous spellcaster monster that is banished or in your graveyard, except Rising Quem the Virtuous. If a face-up fusion or synchro monster you control is destroyed by battle, or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can banish this card and one virtuous spellcaster monster from your hand or graveyard as cost, special summon that monster, but it is destroyed during the end phase of this turn. You can only use each effect of Rising Quem the Virtuous once per turn. So we know that Quem in the original story brings back people from the dead, as she's done with Fleur-de-Lis, turning her into the Despian Luluwalith. So naturally, the evolution of Quem will be some sort of dark necromancer wizard that has a stronger connection to the world of the dead. The original Quem, the Guiding Quem, actually also brought people back from the dead by reviving Albaz cards from the graveyard if a card leaves either extra deck. So I wanted to dwell deeper into that theme of reviving monsters and combining it into a new archetype called Virtuous. It's a dark monster, so it's not as easy to get to, with cards like Lulu being able to summon light spellcaster monsters whose attack equals their own defense. But now, this Quem can actually sacrifice herself and bring back your fallen synchros and fusions back from the dead. But also, after it's sacrificed, it becomes a resource and can instantly revive your fusions and synchros once again. Branded Ascension is a continuous spell, which totally fits together with the whole Bestial Rebellion, placing branded spells and traps face up from the deck. If a bestial monster you control is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can target up to 4 banished light or dark monsters, place them at the bottom of the deck, and if you do, special summon the same amount of bestial tokens, Dragon, Dark, level 6, attack 2500, defense 2000, as cards return to the deck, to your field in defense position. While a bestial token is in the monster zone, the player who summoned it cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck, except synchro monsters. You can only use this effect of Branded Ascension once per turn. We need to talk about the continuation of the Albaz story. Albaz essentially won the final battle. He was able to defeat the Dogmatica side and basically sit upon his throne as the new King of Goats. And undoubtedly, after the war, he returned to his home beyond the Hole. The Hole was that magical triangle diamond shape that opened in the sky where Albaz came from, Albaz followed, and then the Bestial spawned from after Albaz led them into battle. So that essentially means there's probably a lot more of that beyond the Hole that Albaz just needs to command them and bring them back to life. So the theme of Branded Ascension is to replenish your lost bestial that have died in battle. We've seen only 4 permutations of bestial types, but there's probably a lot more than that beyond the Hole where they came from. But they just need a master to command them, giving you more resources but also having you make a decision if you want to shuffle back your lights and darks to draw with things like Branded Regained, or shuffle them back in order to gain resources on the field and continue climbing into more synchro monsters. And this really establishes Bestial as a synchro archetype and possibly opens the door for another Bestial synchro monster. Theion Sprite is a Link 2 Fire Thunder type monster with 1400 defense, with arrows pointing top left and bottom right. It requires 2 monsters, including a monster a Link 2 monster points to. So it's a bit of a complicated situation to be at, but if you're talking about Sprite, it's kind of easy to get to. Cannot be used as link material the turn it is link summoned, and you can only use the following effect of Theion Sprite once per turn. During your main phase, you can activate one of these effects. Target one Sprite monster that is banished or in your graveyard, special summon it to a zone this card points to. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except level, rank, or link 2 monsters. Or the other effect, target one Theion monster that is banished or in your graveyard, special summon it to a zone this card points to, and if you do, equip it with one Theion monster with a different attribute from your hand or deck. So in Legacy of Destruction, we got a new card called Blink Out, and in the artwork of that card, you can see the Fallen of Argyros standing on top of a pile of dead Therions in the middle of the Disc Colosseum. So not only are the Therions gone, but you can see in the Disc Colosseum that the electric sprite energy that once ran through the walls of running the whole operation is also gone. So Therions are dead, sprites are dead, but somebody has to bring them together back from the dead. And Theion Sprite, giving its name, has two types of effects. One, to summon back sprite monsters, but also summon back Therion monsters. And in addition to summon back Therion monsters, it can also give them new abilities by equipping other Therion monsters from the deck or hand directly to them on the field. So it's an ignition effect, thankfully not happening during your opponent's turn, but this is a very solid turn 3 utility to replenish some of the sprite resources that you've lost, or gaining more advantage on the field by gaining more Therion abilities. Brigade Shurag? Yes, not the ominous omen, just good old Shurag. It's a level 5 Dark Winged Beast monster with 0 attack and 2500 defense. If Fall of Albaz or a Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monster is banished while this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card. If this card is normal special, you can target one of your banished Fallen of Albaz or one Beast Warrior or Winged Beast monster as cost and return them to the hand. If this card is used as material for a link summon during your opponent's turn, you can banish this card from your graveyard and tribute one link form monster you control as cost, special summon one Brigade Arms Bucephalus II from your extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can only use each effect of Brigade Shurag once per turn. So you know how Bearbrum actually has a main deck counterpart, which is of course Brigade Kit. So let's reverse engineer Shurag the Ominous Omen and give him a main deck monster. The fearsome, powerful Brigade boss that actually was a great component in beating the Bestial Dispatter and ending the war is now retired. He no longer wants to participate in the war and he stopped fighting. That's also why he has 0 attack. And all he wants to do is retire in the desert, take off his armor, and protect his Brigade tribe. It's a Brigade but also a winged beast, meaning it can be played in branded but also of course in Brigade. If an Albaz or a Tri-type is banished, which happens a lot in both of these decks, you can actually return one of them to your hand, replenishing your resources. And the coolest effect about this card is that if you link it away using Brigade Revolt, which is always what you would want to do, you can tribute it and the actual original Shurag from the field, and then tag them out into Brigade Arms Bucephalus II, which is an amazingly powerful boss for the Brigades that up until now hasn't been really easy to summon, making it a little bit easier to go into the actual endgame boss for the Brigade. And finally, Dogmatica Renaissance. It's a normal trap card that says target up to 2 Dogmatica monsters you control with different names, send monsters from your extra deck to the graveyard with different names whose combined attack is equal or lower than the original attack of those monsters on the field. You can banish this card from your graveyard as cost, and then target one Dogmatica Ritual monster and one Dogmatica spell card in your graveyard, return them both to the hand. Until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. You can only use each effect of Dogmatica Renaissance once per turn. Lastly, one of my personal favorites, a card that the Dogmatica strategy really needs. If you've ever played Dogmatica, you know that recycling your resources is extremely hard. Once you've used up a fusion or a ritual spell and they're gone, it's really hard to bring them back, and essentially this deck has 0 grind. Renaissance means rebirth, and after the church and its leaders were destroyed, there are some hints of revival in the Great Hall of the Nexus. Now you can get rewarded by controlling different types of Dogmatica monsters, but also controlling the ones with the most attack stats, specifically Albazoa, so that you can send many different resources from your extra deck to gain a lot more advantage. But the more important piece of this card is its graveyard effect that allows you to finally return rituals and ritual spells back from the graveyard to your hand so you can do your combos once again on the following turn. And those have been 5 new branded cards that hopefully could be released in some capacity in the future. Of course, we are waiting still to hear what that special one new card will be in the Albaz collection, and I would also, of course, love to hear your speculations. Leave it down in the comments below, or better yet, join our Discord in the description below to tell us all about your theories and your custom branded cards. And also a special thank you to Aya, who illustrated these cards. You can check out her links in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.